Hello, this is Sibyl Harmony, and this is a video about your presence is needed. Have you ever asked yourself, why are you here? What is your purpose? At the end of the day, how do you feel? How did your day go? If you stop in ordinary life, we usually stay busy or distracted. A lot of people do. But have you ever stopped and looked at your life and wondered, what what is it that I'm doing here? Why am I here? Who am I? Or even review the day at the end of the day. How did that go? How did your day go? Did you learn anything? Did you make a difference? When you look back at your life someday, what will you see? Your presence now in this time of change is much needed. You are not here by accident. You are a divine being incarnate in a physical body. And if you are watching this video, I promise you, there's a reason that you're here. Your light and your energy, your consciousness is needed. And if anybody tells you that this is not about consciousness, they haven't really looked very deep into what's going on here. Because this is all about us evolving through history as a species. Yes, history repeats itself, but we are also here to grow and evolve and develop. We have gone into a time in history when consciousness is low. And I'm going to do a video next week about how to tell truth from a lie. So it's really important that you be able to tell a truth from a lie, that you are not discouraged or have your energy dimmed or become depressed or angry or match the energy that teaches you about survival, that teaches you about it's more, doesn't matter how you play the game, it's how you win. All the messages that are put out by mass media and I'll say corporations or the 1%, the energy of religion or families, of programming. And so if you are here and watching this and you are conscious and you're watching what's going on, you see the truth. It's important for you to stand in your truth and your integrity and your presence. So we'll do a little energy exercise to help you start your day. It's a good way to be present in your life, is to start your day in a note of presence and groundedness, because your energy, your vibration is here shifting the mass grid of unconscious energy while we are going through this time of leaving the old paradigm and the new energy coming in. Recently, you may have felt a shift of new things. Yeah, there are new leaders coming in. There is new energy with the young people that are coming in, with people who are interested in taking care of the planet, not interested in war or greed or the old paradigm of toxic narcissism or sociopath, the new energy that's coming in. And so when you show up and you protest peacefully, or even when you vote, or you sign a petition, or you donate, these are all ways that your presence is needed. But your presence is your energy, because everything happens first on the energy level before it manifests physically. So what does that mean? That means being aware of your energy field, aware of your presence, which is your spirit, that illuminates your body in this life. That's who you are. And when you clear the noise, enter quiet, whether you meditate, pray, walk, do yoga, qigong, whatever it is that your thing is, paint, sing, dance, whatever it is that your thing is, to get you in the zone where you get quiet, where you're right there. You're right here in this moment, and you clean the clutter, the noise chatter out of your head, so that you, or the noise chatter and also the projections, so that when you're listening to somebody, when you're involved in something, you're not throwing a projection or being defensive or what about me or this is always that way. So these are all beliefs that people have in their energy fields, that where if you hear a door slam, it may just be because the wind blew the door. But if you have been abused in your life, and somebody used to slam the door open before they abused you, when you hear that door slam, your mind is not in the state of presence. Part of you is in fight or flight or reaction. So you may sit there and smile and say hello to the person, or oh, and then come back to where you are. But how present are you? When you process and let go of all the belief system or your history of trauma or abuse or neglect or control or what's in it for me, or when someone speaks to you, are you listening to that person? Can you be there for that person? Are you present in the conversation? Or is your mind running chatter? Oh, she sounds like my mother. Or what am I going to get out of this? Or, oh, this is so boring. So, I mean, if it is so boring, do you need to set a boundary with that person if it's something you don't want to listen to? So there are a million different programs that people run when we're communicating, that it's amazing that we can even hear each other. Maybe it would sound like this person is making a noise that it forms words coming from thought that is coming to you. And rather than hearing what is being said, are you present and listening from a place of neutrality up here in your third eye, from a place where you can be the observer to what's going on? Or are you reacting and responding to, do they like me? Do they approve of me? Reminds me of whatever programs you're running. And so one of the things with me is that I used to really want people to like me. So everything would be about, do they like me? And I was responding to my childhood abuse of, don't abandon me and don't neglect me and don't abuse me. So I wanted people to be happy. So I was trying to say or do whatever they wanted so I would fit in. So I wasn't present. I wasn't showing up as myself. I was showing up with all my baggage. And once I sat down and looked at that stuff and cleared it, then I could be present, a pure point of light that's helping to lift the consciousness for myself and for others around me in my community, and which affects the family, your home, your relationships, the community, your state, the world. So how we do this is one person at a time. And the first person we need to be present with is ourselves. Are we listening to the news and rushing around or panicking or worrying or trying, yes, it's okay. We want to take action. But when you take action from a place of presence, your energy shifts. And when you get up in the morning and you go out to do your day, anything can happen. Your body is your biggest divination tool, your body and your presence. And when you are in tune with that, you'll be better able to respond to whatever's happening in your life, to be there for somebody or to be there for yourself, because you are bringing your presence, your spirit. You are in this moment where all change happens. So in other words, you are a light, a frequency vibration that is, say, your aura. If you've probably heard of an aura, that's not a made up airy-fairy thing. It's actually very scientific. It's just that quantum science is beginning to catch up, but we haven't really caught up to really who we are and how this is all working yet scientifically. Someday we will, but psychics and healers know, some of them know, that things that science doesn't really know yet. That we are frequency, we are presence, we are vibration. And all the responses and programming and pictures, I call them, that we have in our space that we live through. The picture, I'm not good enough. The picture, do they like me? The picture, are they, what can I get? The picture of how do I manipulate? Can I control this? What is that? I need to sell this. I need to. So all these pictures that we're communicating through, some pictures, some beliefs are assisting you. They form a construct of your belief system, your ethics, and how you connect and communicate with your other people, with yourself, and with the world. So the more grounded we are, the more aware we are of our energy and our body and how we're feeling and what we're thinking, the more powerful, the more effective our presence is. Whether we're bringing joy or whether we're bringing information, whether we're bringing assistance. And we don't always have to be doing something, we can just be present. One of the best things you can do for somebody who is grieving or who is just going through trauma is to sit there and be in presence with them. You don't have to fix anybody. You don't need to tell them what to do or give them advice unless they ask. But really, that needs to come from them. So that would be a whole nother video, talking to how you talk to somebody to help them to find their answer. Because really, we don't have other people's answers. That's why they're here. But we can bring our presence. And as we bring our presence in a peaceful protest, we are here. As we bring our presence in our home and our community, even if you're home alone, your presence is helping to shift the consciousness on the planet to a consciousness of peace, calm, love, prosperity, and healing. Your consciousness and your energy is everything. From there, you take the actions that are appropriate. From there, you know what actions to take. As this fast-paced energy, moves through the world with weather and political and financial or whatever it is, whatever is happening, you sit in the presence of your higher self, your light, your energy, then you will know how to respond to life. And your presence here is needed at this time. Your presence may bring the energy of joy and calm. Your presence may, bring the energy of assistance. Your presence may bring the energy of truth. Your presence is more powerful, actually, than anything you say or do, because your presence arrives before you do. If you've ever noticed, when I am seeing a client or when I'm going somewhere, I can feel the energy before I get there. I know what's happening on an energy level, on a feeling, frequency level before I get there. I can feel where I'm going. I can feel you coming. I can feel your presence. And I can see the spirits around you and the energy and the issues around you, because I am in my presence. And our biggest divination tool to decipher, to understand where we are in our presence, is our body. It is our thoughts, it is our feelings, but it's our body. So when you sit in your peace, whether you're humming or singing or dancing or meditating or praying or walking, and you're sitting or you're just puttering around the house and in your peace, what will happen is you clear the mind, first the mind chatter, all the problems or whatever of the day that you're processing, they actually get worked out in the dream world, but they can get worked out in the physical, in the waking state. And so when you've done all that and you get to a place of peace, then you can be like, okay, how do I set my frequency? How do I set my presence so that I am there and I can, from a non-judgmental place, be present in my life with the people that I come in contact with, for myself and for the world, if that makes sense. Okay. So you are spirit, energy, frequency here in a physical body. And everyone else is here in their frequency and their energy, and everything is alive with a frequency or an energy. You can tell when you walk into a room or a house or you go into a town how it feels. You're feeling the frequency, the presence of others, of the presence in places. Everywhere has a presence. Every plant, every crystal has a presence. That's why people who are sensitive and tuned like nature, like crystal, because they are tuned into the presence, the energy, the frequency of those things that bring peace and harmony and stability. Because out there is not stability. It is fast moving, it is chaotic, and in some ways, it's supposed to be, because we are going through a big shift right now. But you do not have to match chaotic, fear, anger, whatever. If you do have feelings of fear or anger or depression or whatever, it's important to acknowledge that, to look at that, to observe that, not to judge yourself. And there are many different ways, which I teach in my classes and in my healings. I'm doing classes that are coming up there on my website. We're going to do a healing at the end of this video. So there are many different ways to look at, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? What is the frequency and the energy that is affecting me? What are the decisions that I make in regards to those pictures? Now, I had somebody I worked with recently who said that I chose a career and spent my whole life going to college and getting married and doing all this. And I realized one day I didn't want to do that career. I did it because my parents said I should do that for money. I didn't really want to be married, but I thought I shouldn't be alone. They created a whole life through other people's projections on what they should be doing in their life, or who they were, or people who think I'm not good enough, or I'm not smart, or I'm not creative, or I don't know, or I have no purpose, or I'm just lost. Well, all these things are frequencies, beliefs sitting in your energy field. And you live like, if your parent says you're not good enough, and you believe that on some level, as most children would, you have a picture, a belief in your space, like a snapshot in time, that says you're not good enough. And you will live your life through that picture and attract people who treat you as if you're not good enough, get jobs that may tell you you're not good enough, because you have that in your space. And when you recognize through years of therapy or through an energy healing, oh, I have a belief here that says I'm not good enough, and I beat myself up with it. My life proves that to me. And now I am living through a projection rather than being in my presence, in my light. I always thought, if I get rid of all these pictures and beliefs and feelings, and then who am I going to be? Because I had huge resentment. I was the biggest victim of all. No one knows what I've been through. All the stuff people did to me. I allowed them, I stayed, except as a child. A child doesn't usually have a choice. But as an adult, I stayed in bad relationships and blamed the other person because I was afraid to leave. I was afraid to set boundaries. I didn't know how. So I turned it into a story about everyone else. No one knows how bad, nobody knows the trouble I've had. And then that's was my way I lived my life, as a big victim. That's not a way to live. I refuse to live that way anymore. And when I started choosing myself and loving myself and tuning into who am I really, my presence, my light, and started responding and observing and responding to life rather than being a reaction. Anybody can say or do anything to you at any moment. They can say you're stupid or old or whatever. You can't do it, whatever. And if you have that picture, you're going to become I'm insulted. How don't you know who you're talking to? And they can get you into an argument that is a waste of your time. Why would you argue with somebody over something unless you thought on some level it was true? So why would you do that? What is that? So when you have their lower energies and you mingle with it yourself, you're in the game. A lot of that is about selling you products you don't need. The whole world is about, buy this, like me, to share. And it really doesn't have a lot to do with, if you want to have clean energy, we need to be very ethical. We need to be able to look at ourselves, not to judge ourselves, not to try to be perfect, but to be present. To be present for ourselves. And even if you have pictures, maybe you have stuff, okay? Everybody has stuff. This isn't about being perfect. It's about truth, being honest with yourself, and loving yourself, even and recognizing and loving yourself when you do have a reaction. Because whatever you're reacting to is where you've got energy. You've got some kind of projection, some inner child inside you needs to be defended, something about you was wounded. And so you're going to get into an argument with a person about a broken person that doesn't want to look at themselves and lose your presence. And you're not here to argue with people about whatever. Now, I mentioned that only a child is a true victim. So whose job is it, if your child has been wounded, and most people have, whose job is it to be there and present for your child? You. Once it has not been done by the parents and the caregivers, that becomes your responsibility. It's not your partner, not your friends, your therapist, or somebody can sit with you in pain. I taught my children when they were in pain, actually not my children, because when my children were growing up, I still hadn't healed myself. I wasn't present with myself, but I did with my grandchildren. When my grandchildren were in pain and they were crying or telling me about something, I would sit down with them and I would listen to them. Tell me what's going on with you. And I wouldn't judge them. And I couldn't fix them, but I could. Sometimes people just need you to hear them. The best thing you can do is bring your presence to somebody who is in pain, or to bring your presence to yourself, to your own pain. The things that you try to ignore or avoid, that you try to push down, but you will eat a pound of chocolate cake. You will not be able to sleep. You will flip somebody off in traffic because they drove in front of you or something. I mean, so, okay, you will be a reaction to your life. If you don't look at that pain and be present with yourself, be present with your inner child, or be present with the people in your life that are in pain. And a lot of times you can't be present. People cannot be present, not you, but people can't be present with somebody who's in pain because they can't feel that, they haven't done that with themselves. So the best thing you can do for yourself or other people is to bring your presence. And you do that by being present for yourself, by just acknowledging, I'm here with you. When I was a little child, my guides told me, you're not alone. And that was a powerful message. We are not alone. We are surrounded by guides, angels, higher self, deceased loved ones. We are never alone. Some people don't know that, and they need your presence. Your presence is needed for a world that is in pain, for a world that is hurting, for a world that has climate change and wars and economic issues and strife and hatred. Your presence is needed. Whether you're sitting at home in your presence, doesn't mean you have to be happy. Try peaceful, or just conscious and aware. Your presence is needed. And your presence is needed for yourself. Okay? So let's do a little meditation. And I do this a lot. So, and I try to get people up in this chakra, because you will sit in a chakra in your body. Your chakra is an energy center in your body. You have 7 major chakras. You have hundreds of smaller chakras. But your chakras are states of consciousness. They also govern your parts of your physical body. Most people hang out in their first chakra, which is at the bottom of the tailbone, which is survival, trying to survive their life, or being, hopefully they're grounded in a good solid community and family life, in a good home. They're grounded, they're present. Or below the belly button in their emotional center, they're dealing with their emotions or their desires or romance or cravings or addictions, or, so their inner, so that center is the second chakra. So dealing with your feelings. Or the third chakra right above your belly button, which is the center of your daily life, but being controlled or controlling or manipulating or manipulated. Okay. So most people are trying to deal with those centers. When you come up into the heart center, the higher centers, the 5th, the 6th, or the 7th, you're shifting your consciousness into another state. And when you come up into the center of your head, which you may not have been in for a long time, because you didn't know that was there, that's okay. Because when we come into physical body, we forget who we are as spirit. So when you come into this higher center, this is the center of the observer. This heart center is the center of loving yourself and others and joy. But let's just, when there's a little center up here, a little pea-sized center, and there's a little pyramid in there, an energy center. And when you come in there and you come up to that place, you can be more present with yourself. You can sit and look at yourself. In this, I will teach these more advanced calming and present activities in my classes. But for here, we just want you to breathe and imagine there's a little house with a little room up on the 6th floor, a beautiful little room. So we're going to walk up to the house, open the door, and go in there and kind of clean it out and kind of just come. You can put a chair up there. So we're having fun with this. This is kindergarten. We're learning to play with energy. And so we're coming up here. And the reason I say kindergarten is because when you make it fun and you make it easy, because children know how to do this. Children know how to imagine and pretend. Okay. So when you come up here, I was just looking at a little bird hopping around out there. Sorry. You can kind of clean out your space and get grounded and be more present. The other thing we want to do is to try to let go of fear. Right now, you're okay wherever you are. God hope you are. You're not in a war area or somewhere where there's a car barreling down the street at you. So you're safe. And what we want you to do is kind of feel your body and just ground into the earth, like connected to your feet and your tailbone. There's a big cord. We're going to flush the toilet and let all the stuff go down the cord. The earth will compost your energy. So we're gonna say hello to our head, at center of our head. We're gonna ground and release, and then we're gonna do some breathing exercises. So as you breathe in through your nose, don't do this while you're driving. And then I want you to exhale through your mouth, letting out all that toxins and all that stuff that isn't you. Now, when you first start doing this, you may start to hear chatter in your head. Okay. But right now, let's not worry about, cleaning out. We're not going to do that here on a YouTube video, clean out your pictures. But we're going to introduce you to your presence. And if you can just come in and be peaceful, and that can happen, just bring in this light from above, release it down, call in spirit, your light, your consciousness, and then come into here. Okay, so I'll guide you through it. So go ahead and close your eyes and breathing in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And say hello to yourself without judgment. How long has it been since you've been in your body? Because I'm feeling like a lot of you are running ahead scared or sitting in the past crying or stuck somewhere where, trying to resolve a problem. Come back to this present moment, breathing and letting go. Now imagine that you're walking up to a beautiful mansion, a beautiful castle, and it has a 6th floor, but you're going to walk up to the door and go ahead and open the door to your beautiful temple of you. And let's go up to the 6th floor. We're going to go up the stairs, breathing and relaxing. There's going to be a door up there when we get there, but just breathing and relaxing, kind of allow yourself to float up there. And when you get there, go ahead and open the door. Now, maybe some stuff fell out. Maybe it's packed full of things. Maybe it's dark in there. Is there stuff in there? You might need to get a vacuum, a broom, or a shovel and start dropping stuff down your grounding cord. Open the hatch Walk on in and open that hatch up and let it all go down the garbage chute. All that clutter in your head. Don't worry if it's your energy, it'll come back. But all that, because if you weren't there, I'll guarantee you something was, and that's not your energy. Any critters, any people who take up space in your head that you think about all the time, even it could be, their ancestors or their ego or whatever. All that is up there. So just open the windows, let's vacuum that room out, throw everything you don't need down the garbage chute. And let's look down that garbage chute and send some cleansing spiritual Drano down there. Drop some spiritual Drano down there and flush that all down, all the way down. Now the earth will compost it all the way down the front of your spine, all the way down to the center of the planet. And let it go. And breathe. Very cool. Good job. And now let's put a little beautiful chaise lounge or a chair or something you can sit and look out the window. The window's your third eye, and you can look at your life, let's look at a nice view. What do we want to look at? Trees and birds or water or breathe. So we're just imagining. If you don't see it, just imagine, just pretend. We're pretending, we're like children. So doesn't that start to feel better? Here I am present. There you are, present in your sacred space, in your temple, in the most wonderful place. And from that place, just allow yourself to relax and be. And breathe. Breathe and be present. And call in the energy and the light of your spirit, filling that room with light. Filling your body and your aura with light of your own energy, of your presence. And you can say a prayer. Help me to release anything that is no longer serving me, that is affecting my presence for myself, for others in my community. Help me to be present and at peace, to be grounded, to be aware. And to know that in truth, all is well. Help me to bring this presence through my day, my groundedness and my presence. And if ever I feel like I lose it, you just sit down and breathe and come back to this sacred space. And help me to take this into the dream world at night when I sleep. My presence and my peace, my conscious awareness. Help me to be the observer. Help me to bring my presence, my light, And so it is. Keeping your eyes closed, maybe take another deep breath and relax. And just sit there and be at peace. Knowing you can come back here whenever you like. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for watching the video.